All right, so going full speed into our last chapter, how to succeed at OCS. I want to preface with OCS, like everything, it can be simple or chaotic. It just depends on your perspective and how you roll with it, your attitude, right? The two things that you can control are your attitude and your effort. Some people love OCS, some just bear it, but everyone has to do it. You just got to do it, got to get through it, whether you love it or not. Just find whatever you need to do, find whatever it takes to get through it. There's also a lot to learn, right? There's a lot of things that happen at OCS that you need to know, but there's a lot of it that you just need to learn when you get there. For example, how to eat at the chow hall, right? I mean, are you really going to sit here and practice like putting your heels together, putting your chests up to the table, and you can't look at your food? And plus, nobody, like, they don't do it the same. And so each company's different, and it's like some of these things you need to learn when you get there. So going over some of the attrition trends, Colonel Hyman, the current CEO of OCS, sent us a feedback with the current issues that they are seeing. Most of the people that are dropping, that aren't making it through, that aren't graduating, are DORing. And it's mainly just they don't really want to be there. And that could be good or bad. I mean, it's people that are like, you know what, I don't think I'm good enough. Or I knew someone in my platoon who's a really good guy. He's a sergeant, he's a grunt, and he had been gone from his family for 4 weeks, and he's like, I don't want to be gone from my family anymore. And so I don't really want to do this. I was sad when he left. He's a really good guy, a solid dude. But, I mean, we'll go into this more in the mitigations, but just, figure out if you really want to do this. A big part, a big chunk, like at the very beginning, were people that were trying to get out of training by going to medical and getting medically DQ'd. There's a lot of people that didn't want to like drop officially; they want to be like just medically DQ'd, and so they just go to medical for 6 days and hopefully they kick them out. That puts a lot of strain on a platoon because like if you have a third of your platoon gone in medical, then you're carrying all their stuff. You can't just leave their rifles or their day packs behind. So don't be that guy. If you're gonna drop, just drop. Unsatisfactory evaluation. There's not a lot of people who fail out. There are a couple, but for the most part, it's just people dropping. Training-related injury. We didn't have anyone in my company who actually dropped because they were injured. There's like as far as like tearing your ACL or something like that. We had one person who had a stress fracture in his knees, or not his knees, his shins, and he did get dropped like in the last 2 weeks because we still had a little while to go and he couldn't make it. But if you do drop for medical reasons, you can come back. So how do we mitigate these trends, this attrition? Starting out with intro to core values. These are pulled straight from what Colonel Hyman sent us. Know your purpose, right? Like it's hard, like when you're young, right? You're trying to figure things out. Like you still have a lot of life ahead of you. Like what do you want? But remember why you were there. You had to fill out this in your form whenever you were trying to get selected, right? So know why you want to be a Marine Corps officer and stick to that. That's an anchor to pull you through. If you're just showing up to see what it's like you're just trying to, see, hey, is this something I want to do? You're not going to make it because it's going to get really, really hard. There's a lot of times there's going to be points where you don't want to do this. Like, this is annoying. Like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? And if you don't have that reason why pulling you through, you're just going to drop. So decide you're going to graduate OCS before you show up. It's kind of like the saying, it's like you don't decide to climb a mountain halfway up. So what that means is like, if you're going to go up the mountain, it's like, we'll just kind of see what happens. You'll get like halfway, like get to the tree line, and it's like, you're sucking wind. You didn't bring enough water. You're dehydrated. Like, I'm just going to turn back. So decide you're going to climb this mountain before you even start. Knowledge and history, from what they've seen at OCS and what I saw too, a lot of people struggle like talking in third person, knowing the rank structure and like your reporting procedures. They get all flustered. They have no idea like how to say it. I had like a somewhat of an idea. A lot of this can just be solved by just having a good head on your shoulders, having some common sense, and just monkey see, monkey do. Just see what everyone else does, learn from their mistakes, and then also just kind of practicing beforehand. Then that's like the biggest part of like actually just talking and interacting. And then the 5-paragraph order, knowing that beforehand is a huge leg up. You'll be heads and shoulders above anyone who does not know the 5-paragraph order. And to be honest, it's hard to learn there, especially whenever you're sleepy and tired. It's hard to learn stuff for the first time at OCS, like in the classes, whenever you're falling asleep trying to suck on cough drops to stay awake. Your physical fitness preparation, you can't just show up just barely passing the PFT, the initial induct PFT. You're going to have a really hard time. I knew one person who just barely passed the PFT who did graduate. So I'm not saying like you can't graduate, but it's, you're going to save yourself a lot of heartache if you just show up in good cardio condition. Resistance training too, like upper body. A lot of that's more for like the obstacles and stuff. Like people who don't have a strong upper body, they can't do a lot of pull-ups or whatever. They're gonna have some issues doing like the college boy roll or whatever it may be on the obstacle course. Do a decent amount of running, walking, and hiking. I think the best people, like most people, graduated if they were running between 15 and 20 miles in a week. So do a good amount of walking, hiking, and breaking in your boots. You are allowed to bring your own boots to OCS that you've broken in. This is crucial, especially for avoiding blisters. And then also, if you have soles, right? So you get some soles, you mold them, and you break them in. You can buy soles at the gear issue or like at the PX or something, but you're not going to have them broken in. So like it's better if you buy your sole inserts beforehand and break them in with your boots, and that will help give you support for your Achilles, your shins, and your knees and stuff. One thing that I'm adding on here is stress injury prevention. Stretch and roll out your lower body every single night. This is hard to do in transition training because your free time that you're supposed to get at the end is mainly taken up with playing games. But hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying this. You're not supposed to be out of your rack at Firewatch. But if you are on Firewatch, you can go and just kind of sneakily go over, if like you're on the back post, and there's a wooden plank at the very end of the squad bay where you can stretch out your calves. So you can go stretch out your calves then, and then if you wake up maybe a little bit before your Firewatch or like a little bit after, you can go and roll out your legs inside the head or something like that. Me personally, I just tried to get it every chance I could. In that time, I just kind of risk it of like, I'll just start rolling out more in adaptation training, and I was fine with that. But I mean, just stretch and roll out as much as you can, and that will help out any like Achilles tendonitis or shin splints or knee issues. Also, your IT band. I mean, you can stretch and roll out that stuff now. If you're rolling out and you're like, it's excruciating pain rolling out your IT band on the side, that's not supposed to be like that. That's a sign that your IT band is really, really tight, and that can lead to issues of like swollen knees and hurting knees in the future. So, I mean, just go ahead and get a start on that now. And lastly, for this part, the mitigations, when you're on your liberty period, take care of your bodies. Don't just go out and go buy a pack of beer and just go watch TV or something. Use your time to roll out and stretch either in the squad bay, or what I would do is I would take my foam roller in my bag, and whenever we go to the hotel, I would just stretch and roll out there in the hotel. So use that time to take care of your bodies and to recover. Now down to the nitty-gritty meat and potatoes of how to succeed at OCS. Be loud, be fast, be sharp. The instructors are not going to be happy until they see the veins bulging out of your neck and forehead. Prepare. A lot of the academic stuff you can study now so that you don't have to learn it for the first time at OCS. You're just reviewing. Practice peer leadership. I said it before, if you can get out to an LRC set and do one of those problems with a group of people, that'll help you out so much. Get in good cardio running shape. I mean, now it speaks for yourself. You're running a bunch at OCS. Don't freak out under pressure. The instructors are trying to get under your skin. They're going to try to find your buttons and push them. All right, so just stay calm, stay cool. Don't take it personal. Right, they're just doing their job because they don't want to let a candidate through, become an officer who's going to freeze in combat and get someone killed. All right. Now, take care of your body. Stress injury prevention. This will only go so far if you actually get a stress injury. Right. So it's easier to keep up than to catch up. Don't let yourself get to that point. If you don't stretch and roll out and then you get shin splints, you can't just roll your shin splints away. Right? This is something that keeps you from getting it, but once you get it, they're really hard to get rid of, especially Achilles tendonitis. So just don't let yourself get to that point. Be a good person. This is huge. This will take you a long way, even if you just follow this. So, like, put out when you're a GP, right? If you don't have a billet position, still do everything that you can to make your leadership look good, and they'll turn around and do it for you. Take care of your people, and they'll take care of you. And lastly, how bad do you want it? I like to think of the saying, everyone wants to win the Super Bowl, but not everybody's willing to do what it takes. So just when it comes down to it, how bad do you want to become a Marine Corps officer?